Wow, that's a beautiful paint scheme, but you know what? It is much more than paint. It's a major investment. An aircraft's paint scheme and the quality of its finish is often the very first impression people have of the company owning that plane. The paint job makes a statement about the plane, its crew, the quality of its maintenance. When the coatings used are of the highest quality, the paint scheme continues to look good for years, maintains a high DOI, high gloss, adds protection against corrosion, and extends the longevity and durability of that paint job. So, obviously, using the best coating products and using the proper application techniques can have a major impact on the image of the shop applying the paint scheme. Sherwin-Williams JetGlow, JetGlow Express, AquaGlow, and JetFlex have earned the reputation in the aerospace industry as some of the best products flying. Using these top coats in tandem with the Sherwin-Williams paint system throughout the painting process helps ensure a high-quality finish. They're designed to be used by professional aircraft painters and are used by paint shops in more than 50 countries around the globe. Of course, just using the best products isn't enough. To get the best paint scheme possible, you need to apply those coatings properly, and that's how this instructional video can help you. Whether you're painting a business jet, turboprop, helicopter, 747, or the giant NASA Super Guppy, if you follow the guidelines provided in this video, you'll give yourself the best chance of producing a beautiful paint job with the highest possible durability.
A note on safety. Before a painting project is begun, make sure all staff involved in the project are fully briefed on your company's safety policies in and around the paint hanger. It is of utmost importance that paint crews always wear the required personal protection equipment, or PPE, while preparing, sanding, substrate pre-treating, painting, or doing any other work in the paint hanger. With the industry's top ratings in DOI and other critical appearance factors, Sherwin-Williams products provide an extremely high-quality finish. They are also designed for easy application. But even these high-quality products' performance will be compromised if you do not follow the recommended application procedures. In this video, you will be shown the proper procedures for surface preparation, corrosion primer application, sanding surfacer application, and top coat application. Preparation of an aircraft's exterior surface begins by either stripping to bare aluminum, sanding existing painted aluminum, or sanding new or pre-painted composite surfaces. On both new and used aircraft, this stripping process begins with a detail masking, where windows, antenna, and other areas not to be painted are covered. Once the aluminum has been stripped clean, rinsed with clean water, and dried, you should also inspect the airframe for any corrosion or damage and make any necessary repairs. Removing the corrosion ensures the longevity of the new paint scheme. Abrading the plane's aluminum with red Scotch-Brite and DA pads ensures the pre-treatment and the paint scheme have a good mechanical and adhesive bond to the surface. After abrading the surface, the plane should be thoroughly washed with water to remove any sanding debris. Deionized or reverse osmosis treated water is preferred to prevent the introduction of additional minerals to the process. Following the rinse, an aluminum pre-treatment should be used. There are two popular pre-treatments. One is a wash or etching primer, which is a one-step process that should be applied to a clean and dry aluminum skin by spray gun. It must be allowed to dry for approximately 2 hours before being overcoated. The other pre-treatment is a two-step process using metal brightener and Aludyne. The phosphoric acid etch is applied with an airless sprayer to wet aluminum to chemically clean and etch the surface. The metal brightener should be rinsed off within a minute after being applied. Immediately after the metal brightening process, while the skin is still wet from the rinse, the Aludyne is sprayed on airlessly. This product protects the aluminum from corrosion and assists with primer coating adhesion. The Aludyne should also be rinsed from the plane surface within a few minutes after its application. Refer to the manufacturer's data sheet for a specific time frame. Following this rinse, the plane should be allowed to dry thoroughly. The proper amount of time is dependent on climate and environmental conditions. Generally, an overnight drying time frame is needed. Once the plane is thoroughly dry, including seams, screw heads, and rivets, the plane needs to be remasked using craft paper materials. When all masking is complete, the plane is wiped down with strong solvents, such as MEK, to ensure that excess chromate and any contamination from the remasking process are removed. Now the plane is ready to receive its first layer of coating, a corrosion protective primer. Before starting the primer process, you should ensure the environment in the hangar has been properly prepared. The paint hanger should be clean, have a good airflow, and be dirt-free. You have two options in corrosion primers. Traditional chromated primers, such as Sherwin-Williams CMO 483660 and CMO 483928, or chrome-free primers, such as Sherwin-Williams CMO 481968 Primer Surfacer. The primer must also be prepared properly. This begins with its storage. Sherwin-Williams primers and top coats should be stored at temperatures between 40 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or 5 and 35 degrees Celsius, and should be used prior to their shelf life deadline. Before opening the cans, the primer base should be thoroughly machine shaken for 10 to 15 minutes. Then, the base and components are mixed at specific ratios and thoroughly stirred. It is important to be accurate in order to achieve the product's maximum durability and appearance qualities. Refer to Sherwin-Williams product data sheets for the appropriate mixing ratios. Next, you must check viscosity of the primer mix to ensure correct application, drying, and performance properties. Use a certified viscosity cup, such as a Zahn 2 or similar product. To perform this test, submerge the cup into the primer, lift above the paint, then check the amount of time in seconds it takes for it to drain from the cup. Always refer to the relevant data sheet for product information. After mixing, you must allow an induction period of 15 to 30 minutes to ensure a proper mix. It is important to ensure that the primer's temperature is conditioned prior to application. A temperature of 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 to 23 degrees Celsius is recommended. It is also important to ensure that the temperature of the airframe and the air temperature in the paint hanger are also in this same room temperature range. If the material, airframe, or air temperatures are too low, this can result in blooming and improper drying. When all the temperatures are satisfactory, you may fill the spray pots with the primer. Sherwin-Williams recommends mixed paint materials always be filtered as they are introduced into the spray equipment to remove airborne materials and other impurities. After connecting the pots to a compressed air line, the pots should be adjusted to the correct pressure to ensure a proper spray flow. The spray guns must also be adjusted to ensure a proper flow of material. After charging the spray gun, you may apply the corrosion protective primer to the aircraft. Apply one light, continuous, closed film coat. Always ensure the primer is thoroughly dry before overcoating. You should allow at least 2 hours for drying in a hangar that is at room temperature. After the primer coat has dried, you should take dry film thickness readings at all areas of the aircraft. The primer coat should be approximately 1 mil or 25 microns dry film thickness. Typically, 3 layers of primer coat are applied to an airframe. The first layer is a corrosion protection primer. The final 2 layers are epoxy or urethane sanding surfacers. This product helps technicians easily identify areas requiring repair or special attention. The surfacer primer should be prepared with the same attention to detail as when preparing the corrosion-resistant primer. After shaking, mixing, and stirring, check to be sure the chosen surfacer has the proper viscosity. Check the temperature of the surfacer, the air temperature, and the airframe. Filter the primer and properly prepare the spray pots and guns. Then, apply 2 to 3 coats of the surfacer to the specified areas of the aircraft. This coating layer will require at least 4 to 8 hours of dry time at room temperature, depending on the thickness applied. After drying, the primer coat should be approximately 4 to 6 mils thick. Before sanding, apply a light black spray coat or guide coat to help identify high and low irregular surfaces. If Sherwin-Williams chrome-free primer is used, this step is not necessary because the chrome-free primer is specially formulated to change gloss and color as you sand it, acting as its own guide coat. For sanding these areas, use DA sanders fitted with P240 or P320 papers. Ideally, the surfacer should be sanded down to a minimum dry film thickness of around 2 mils. Care must be taken to prevent sanding through the primer layers and exposing any bare aluminum. If bare aluminum is exposed, reapply a light coat of the corrosion primer to the bare areas only. At this point, you should also perform any needed detail filling work using Sherwin-Williams spread and spray filler. Once all filling and sanding is complete, rinse the plane's entire surface with water to thoroughly clean it. Again, allow adequate time for the plane to dry completely, with no moisture remaining behind seams and screw heads. Blow down the plane with clean compressed air and recheck the masking once again. Now it is time to begin the process of applying the Sherwin-Williams top coat. Of course, this process starts with material preparation. Sherwin-Williams top coats, which must be stored at the proper temperature and used prior to the end of their shelf life, should be machine shaken prior to opening the cans. Next, mix the proper amounts of the top coat and the components. A tip for this process: always add hardener and activator into the base component and stir. Then pour the activator of choice slowly into the mix. Adjust the mix to the correct viscosity with solvent and allow a full 30 minutes for induction before using. As with primers, check the temperature of the mixed top coat material, the plane's airframe, and the hangar's air to be sure they are all at the desired range. Remember, always filter the mixed material into the spray pots. Then close the pots, connect air hoses, and adjust the pots to the proper pressure. Before beginning the painting, use tack rags on the plane's entire surface to collect any fine particles. Then, using spray guns with clean nozzles, charge the guns with the Sherwin-Williams top coat. Adjust the guns to achieve the proper flow level and begin applying the top coat to the aircraft. It is very important to ensure the spray guns have been maintained in top shape because you can't halt the painting process for more than a few minutes. When applying the top coat, use smooth, sweeping horizontal passes, with each one slightly overlapping the edge of the last. Typically, 2 or 3 coats of top coat are applied, with 45 minutes between coats to ensure the top coat has good opacity, flow, and leveling. After a layer of top coat has been applied, allow several hours of dry time at 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 to 23 degrees Celsius with 50% humidity. Refer to the appropriate data sheet for specific drying times. Once the top coat has thoroughly dried, the preparation for the plane's livery striping design may begin. By following these guidelines, it will help you achieve outstanding results with Sherwin-Williams top coats. Results that will show you why at Sherwin-Williams we say, we color the sky. If you would like more specific details on the products mentioned in this video, please visit the Sherwin-Williams website at www.swaerospace.com and click on Product Information, or contact your Sherwin-Williams service representative.